Manchester United have won again, their 7th consecutive win in all competitions. And finally now, we must acknowledge that Erik Ten Hag is getting everything right. He is a man who has had to deal with so much since he landed at Manchester United. And I think that every single big challenge that has come his way, he has handled perfectly correctly. He has been magnificent. And do you know what? It puts me in a very uncomfortable position, Erik Ten Hag, because it's very rare that I quite like a Manchester United manager. But the way that Ten Hag has handled himself, the way that he has elevated this Manchester United team, the way that the Manchester United fans seem to have this belief, the Stretford end in full voice tonight, the way that he handled Cristiano Ronaldo, the way that he handled Marcus Rashford. You know, Marcus Rashford was a real problematic situation potentially, but he was dropped and he was inspired by the dropping. It takes a very particular manager to have the skill to do that. And Erik Ten Hag has been absolutely sensational. And his team now move into the next round of the Cup after an entertaining win against Everton. I'm going to be frank with you. I was gutted. I was gutted because obviously I don't want Manchester United to win, but I especially don't want Manchester United to win against Frank Lampard. We'll come on to him later, but first we have to talk about the jewel in the crown of Manchester United at the moment. That is, of course, Marcus Rashford. He was the star again. 2 superb assists and a cool injury time penalty. Just waited for Jordan Henderson at the very last minute, just ran up to the ball. His perfect penalty, his technique on those penalties is virtually flawless. You know, I did a deep dive into the penalty that was missed in the Euros, and he did everything right. He got it so spot on. It's just one of those things. He is in remarkable form right now, Marcus Rashford. In fact, is this fair? Marcus Rashford is actually in the form of his life. This is the best form ever displayed in the career of Marcus Rashford. I don't think we've ever seen him playing like this. And again, Erik Ten Hag deserves so much credit here. With regard to Everton, I thought they contributed plenty. It was an open game, an exciting game, and they had that second equaliser disallowed. Demarai Gray, who played brilliantly, was offside by a Rizzler paper, but what a goal that would have been. Back heels, fizzed across the area, Dominic Calvert-Lewin cleverly using his body to steer the ball home. An excellent goal, annoyingly, correctly, but annoyingly, chalked off for offside. For me, watching Everton tonight, that is not the sort of performance that should get a manager sacked. A manager does not deserve to be sacked after putting in a performance like that at Old Trafford against a form team in a very intimidating atmosphere. But it's the Premier League and you never know these days. And I think that Frank Lampard is hanging on by a thread. Whether that's correct, in my opinion, it isn't. I imagine that a lot of you think it's the correct decision, but I really don't, because I think Everton played well. I thought they gave everything. I thought Demarai Gray was terrific. Onana, Pickford was good. Like, the team overall, they look better. You know, that 3 at the back, it worked. If they can keep Calvert-Lewin fit, keep Alex Iwobi doing his thing, there is a chance that they won't go down. And I don't think they will if they keep Frank Lampard. And that is the definition of success for Everton this year. Simply surviving is success. Expectations need to change at that club. And simply surviving is success. The fans, I thought, were so loud, the Everton fans. Packed out that away end. And they really were so loud. And to my ear, it felt like they were backing the players and backing Lampard. I thought that the board got a lot of the ire and a lot of the grief. And I saw the banners at the end. Did you see the fellas, the lads with the hoods up, all the sort of Men in Black style, sack the board? It wasn't aimed at Lampard. And I truly believe that it's the board, not Lampard, who should be sacked. Because at Everton, we've been here before. We've done this time and time again. The managers change, but the results never do. Every 12 months or so, the cycle resets. New protagonists enter the fray. They depart nearly as quickly as they get there, and they rinse and repeat. This time last year, like, remember, a couple of days ago, Everton got battered by Brighton at home. Exactly 366 days, so a year and a day previous, Everton got battered at home by Brighton. Since that game, the manager has changed. Rafael Benitez is no longer the manager. Frank Lampard is. The same thing has happened. So the consistent is the board, not the manager. The fact that the manager has constantly changed, the variable that shifts is the manager. So we know that it isn't working. We know that simply changing the manager does not immediately equal success. So we have to start looking at the board. And Bill Kenwright, what is he still doing there? I don't understand why he's still there. He sold the club. Why is he still there? Exactly what is his role? I would love to know, what does Bill Kenwright do for that club on a day-to-day basis? He's the chairman, but what is his role? The chief executive, that Denise Barrett Baxendale, she gets a lot of grief. I mean, to a lesser extent, the finance director, Ingalls, and that Graham Sharp, what's he called? He's the non-executive director. I mean, they are the people who are responsible for the poor decisions that are resulting in Everton failing to keep pace with the teams that they consider to be their rivals. And not only that, in fact, the teams that are their rivals have now, left them behind. But it's the other teams, isn't it? It's Brentford leaving Everton behind. It's not correct. It's not right. Everton are a huge club, an institution. That team in the mid-'80s, that Graham Sharp side, Tony Cottee, they were winning leagues. And Brentford, one of the most insignificant clubs in the country, have superseded them. It's not right, and you can understand why Everton fans are so angry. But it's because of the running of the club. Like, use Brighton, who beat them the other day, as an example. Brighton are everything that Everton are not, both on and off the pitch. Brighton are a club that don't have much money, but have a lot of sense, intelligence, acumen. Everton, far more money than sense. Brighton, far less money than sense. It's just terrible for Everton, and I really don't see how they rectify this without a complete shift at boardroom level. I really think that is the only way that they're going to do it. Think about this. Alex Iwobi cost more than the entire Brighton team. The Brighton team that slapped up Everton the other day, Alex Iwobi cost more than that entire team. Think about it. They lost Cucurella. They bring in Estepinian. They lose Potter. They bring in De Zerbi. They're clever. Where is that approach at Everton? And look, sacking a board doesn't solve all your problems overnight. Of course it doesn't. But they need a radical restructuring. They need a board with greater diversity of thought, because this current board are unwilling to nominate anyone who might initiate change. And therefore, they have a closed rank mentality. The owner of the club isn't without blame either. All of that Mashiri and Usmanov links. Like, Usmanov got sanctioned in the States, man. It's just not good enough the way that Everton are being run. And look, Everton fans aren't happy with the performance, they aren't happy with the players, and they aren't happy with Lampard. But the ire is directed from the stands to the board. Their record lately has been so bad. But I believe that simply sacking Lampard just turns him into the latest sacrificial lamb. He ends up having to bear the brunt of all of the woes, but the board are the same. And while the board are the same, nothing will ever change at that club. Realistically, sacking Lampard achieves what? It achieves what? They have to bring somebody else in. It costs them a lot of money. And who do they bring in? I saw that Roberto Martinez was linked with the job. That is ridiculous. Truly ridiculous. Luis Enrique, obviously not. Bielsa, Sean Dyche. It all feels fairly uninspiring if you are an Evertonian. If you sit in that Gladys Street end, you've just got to be so gutted with what you are hearing here. But look, I think that Lampard can get it right. I think the team played for him today. And at the end of the game, when the players and Lampard went over to the fans seemed to give them the acknowledgement that the performance was acceptable. So we shall see. But sacking Lampard, for me, is not the answer. I have a feeling I'll be in the minority when I read the comments on this video. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please do me a favour. Please give it a like. Please click subscribe. It would be my honour to welcome you into this community. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will see you all very soon in a bit.